Hey everyone, it's McGuire, Brandon. Descending standing list. If you're like me, it's 10 days into the new year, and well, it's 10 days into the new year for everyone, unless you're in Australia, in which case it's next Monday already. But if you're like me, it's 10 days into the new year, and there are already these little cracks that are starting to form. Maybe your expectations of yourself or others, or if you're like me and just the reveal of all of these boxes stresses you out and gets you to the point where you're like, it's never going to get done. Maybe you have a task list that no matter how many things you cross off that list, more things appear. We're going to talk about how that's completely normal and it's going to be okay. And I want to talk about two things that really help me. And one of them is very current to my startup, which is how do I actually keep track of not just the big long-term goals, but how do I break those up into monthly, weekly, and even daily goals? And that's an extremely productive thing. When I do that, my productivity goes through the roof. The other thing I want to talk about is a quick little thing that I just set up last night, but I figured I'd cover it here because it's a huge way to separate work and life. That is an elusive thing, especially for founders or if you're in an early startup. That division between work and life is almost impossible to find. So this little habit that I've gotten into really helps to separate those two worlds, at least in the browser. So let's start in Asana. You can use any tool in the world. I'm using Asana for this. And we'll go down, let's make sure that's censored. And I'll start with annual goals. There are 3 of them that I have. And what I want to make sure is that my monthly goals, or later on when I have quarterly or even half goals, I want to make sure that those meaningfully contribute towards those annual goals. And I want to make sure my weekly goals do the same thing for my monthly goals. And all the way down to the day, my daily top 3, and I pick the 3 most important things. They don't have to be the most time intensive. They don't have to be the biggest things, but they have to be the things that'll move the needle the most to make sure my weekly goals get done. These are essential. And I make sure that they contribute to my weekly goals. Anything else that I'm doing in the day, any other big tasks, I'll make sure to put these here. I'll call them quick wins. And these are things I can track that, they're building momentum, but they might not be the most important thing on the list. These are the 3 most important things I absolutely have to knock out by the end of the day. So why is it an increasing resolution as I go up? Because I know as I make progress in each of these, they contribute to the next one. And if I'm on track with my daily goals, that means my weekly goals, my monthly goals, and my annual goals are going to have a way higher probability of happening. Now, why? How is this different from just hitting the ground running and going and going and going? Well, if you're like me, you can take a look at goals like this and very quickly bounce between different tasks. You can very quickly fill your calendar with a lot of stuff and not really make meaningful progress towards a bigger goal. So by listing the 3 most important things for that day and then that week and so on, you're keeping yourself focused in a way that it doesn't give you permission to deviate, or it gives you a lot less permission to deviate because they're in plain English or whatever language you're using. And I think the essential thing about this is, although there's always a lot to do, and this is just for a top secret education company, this is just for my startup, because there's always a lot of things to do, this ensures that you're focused on the things that are going to move the needle towards your larger and larger objectives. Beyond annual goals is my mission. And my mission, of course, is to make learning engaging and fun. So with that in mind, that is the balance between productive time, just getting stuff done. Yeah, and that's fine, versus focused productive time. This is time that adheres to the things that you know are the most important to get done in a given day, week, month, year, whatever that time horizon is. So that leads me to the second thing. In fact, I can continue to use this screen because I am currently migrating everything over. Right now, I'm doing the initial stages of a startup, and this happens a lot. There's a little bit of a blurred line, especially in the browser. I have my work calendar and my personal calendar all integrated right now, and that's not the healthiest thing. It's not the easiest thing to manage. So what I want to introduce is this idea. If you go up here and you switch over, I've created a second profile, and I've logged in using my business email address, which right now is McGuire@topsecreteducationcompany.com. So it's really easy to type. And you'll notice here, it's a completely different profile. I've chosen a different theme, so I'm aware when I'm working, I'm in this part of the browser. When I'm doing personal stuff, so if I'm doing shopping for home, or I'm writing an email to a loved one or a friend, or I'm just doing anything that's personal, I do it in that browser, or I do it in that browser instance, that profile. And in this case, you'll know this is what I'm doing for business. Now, I haven't finished moving everything over. I just set this up last night, and I've been doing this for about 5 or 6 years. My friend Nathan Johnson actually gave me this idea 5 or 6 years ago.
You're doing a video. Why are you doing a video? Why do you always do a video?
Because I do my 1 second of the day.
It's not 1 second. This is not 10 seconds.
Where the separate profiles really keep your work stuff separate from your home stuff. And that's absolutely essential, not just for the fact that it's convenient or gives you a little more of a semblance of work-life balance, but because if you're using the same system and you're logged into personal stuff and work stuff, you get into all sorts of security concerns. It ends up actually being a nightmare. So ideally, you're using separate devices for work and home. I don't have this Mac Studio set up yet, so right now everything's being done on this MacBook Air. And right now, I'm in the process of switching everything over. So if you're not already doing that, it's a really quick win, a way to separate work and life so that you're not constantly logged in and having to choose between different login instances of your work email, your home email, and like that for every single service. It's a really good way to keep things separated. Now, what I'm about to do right here is probably the most important thing I'll do all day. So I want to make sure to select the area right here. I'm going to say generative fill, add a business tie under the sweater. Oh, that's perfect. Well, there's 3 options. Let's look at that one, and that one. I think it's the second one. So we'll make sure to save this. And just like that, with a quick glance, I can forever tell the difference between work McGuire and personal McGuire. So I want to thank Nathan again for introducing me to Chrome profiles back in the day. And I'd like to thank Yvonne for taking my original profile photo. And I figure as a way to return the favor, we'll go ahead and add a little bit of a mustache. Add a manly mustache. Let's see what other options we have. That one's much better. Yvonne, this is my gift to you. Now you just have to decide which one's going to be your work profile and which one's going to be your personal.